Wrinkled shirt, wrinkle in time. It felt wrong. A Wrinkle in My Pinkle. So A Wrinkle in My Pinkle is written by Jennifer Lee, Jeff Stockwell, and is based off of the novel by Madeleine L'Engle. It's directed by Ava DuVernay, and it stars all those people. Bless their souls. Not only was this a book, but it is also a reboot of a 2003 Disney release. Did anybody know that? I didn't know that. Somebody probably was like, well, obscure live actions are the cornerstone of our success, so we must put all of our cards into this film. I feel like we've had this conversation before. Absolutely not. John Carter 2 will be a huge hit. You mean A Wrinkle in Time? Huh? You mean A Wrinkle in Time. You know, that's the movie that we're, throwing all of our resources in. Never heard of it. This also happened last time. Next, the sequel to Lone Ranger. Oh boy. Johnny Depp will never refuse. No one would. And neither would I, unfortunately. And that brings me here. Honestly, I was wise to the act even before going into this movie. Look, we're at least on our fourth live-action Disney movie that isn't a Disney princess reboot or a classic reboot, a Star Wars or a Marvel movie. And here we are. Another overly bloated cash-in that I really don't understand what they have to gain from it. If they're going to do as terribly as they did in each of these following categories. Characters. Good golly. The main guy was serviceable. Here's your award writers. Chris Pine's character is in the movie for a total of 5 minutes, and, yeah, okay. Now on to everyone else. What the fudgelick? The writers didn't give a 2-cent prostitute about character development or character. Oh my gosh! It's like, this is WTF. Done. There was literally no effort put into the characters in this movie. None whatsoever. Obnoxious. Moving on. The acting. Never seen an actor miserable and smile and remain convincing. This here is proof that Chris Pine can act. Wait, what? No. He really is great. I didn't mean anything bad by that, okay? Chris Pine didn't give 2 F's about this bus fire. And yet he pulled something off. Storm Reid is fine, and I'll bet that she could possibly have a bright future. But that kid, what? Talk about a complete miscast. If you're crazy enough to partake of Disney's table scraps and see this dumpster fire, then you will see. This kid is bad. There were probably 10 times that I took my 3D glasses off so that I didn't have to sit in the illusionistic reality of this fecal dump. 9 out of 10, it was because of that kid. Now let me be extra clear. The kid has got some talent, okay? This is all on the casting department. I don't know what the casting department just effed up the fecal pipe so much that I just couldn't. I couldn't. I wish the kid luck. As for the casting department, shame. The dialogue. There's a line about hair. It's creepy, it's awkward, and it's out of place, like the rest of the dialogue. There are also so many moments where the movie is trying so hard to have one of those come to Jesus moments or Sam speeches, and it was so apparently forced that I was having a really hard time not screaming my thoughts on the situation. No! Story. God, this movie's sloppy. Everything is just so rushed and phoned in that I guess we're just supposed to accidentally care about what's going on. Because the writers were absolutely too lazy to try. Like, what's her name? The main character is supposed to be having, like, this hard life, and it's laughably bad. I know I'm probably being too harsh, because there is a part at the beginning of the movie where something really terrible is said to our main character, and it's so absurdly intrusive that I couldn't help it. I was just like, aha! Needless to say, for the rest of the movie I had to keep my agony to a more cordial level. Lastly, the transitional issues. Every character introduction and entrance is so... Hey, how's it going? Wait, who are you? Hey, let's go do this thing. Okay. Like, new characters would just show up in someone's house. Nobody calls the cops. And they're just like, let's go do this thing. And they're like, okay. Predictability. With all due respect, this is the most predictable piece I have ever come in contact with. Epic fail. The morale of the film. There's nothing. There's nothing. I can't even give the movie commendation on what it was trying so hard to do. There's nothing. Except for this one scene. Darn me and my objective self. Yeah, one exchange between the only two people we cared about was actually pretty heartfelt. I felt it. And you probably have to be a pretty heartless person to not have felt it at least just a little bit. Frankly, it saved this movie from a lifetime of misery at the bottom of the list. I decided to put this movie at number 569. God, it feels good to just dig it in the dirt. That's the worst rating I've given on this channel thus far. So it should tell you, don't see this movie. Maybe wait till it's in your 99-cent bin at your local car wash. Then maybe consider not buying it. But for those of you who have accidentally seen this movie because you walked into the wrong theater and you were like, oh, it's Disney, so it must be good. Then please tell me what you thought about it below, because I, believe it or not, still care to know. I still want to know what people think about movies that are just awful. Even if they think it's good, you know? Good for you. If you enjoyed this movie, good for you. I wish I was you. I wish I could have had the experience that you did. If you can share any of that experience with me, please do. To get more face exploding, good, face explodingly awesome reviews. It can happen. Then definitely hit the daggum subscribe button wherever YouTube decided to put it. And I will see you next time on MovieSlayer.